Good morning from the Sunshine State. Broadcasting from Palm Beach County, it's the Fishing in Florida Show. Sundays from 8 to 10 a.m. And now, here's your host, Riscala.
Good morning, good morning. It is the Fishing in Florida Show. It is an honor and a privilege to have you join us this morning, getting the cobwebs out of the out of the upstairs for me as I'm working diligently to get the eyes open and the brain working. This morning I have Carolyn, and Carolyn is with AllTrax. And if you want to protect what you love to the max, you got to talk to my friend Carolyn at AllTrax. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
Oh, excellent, Riscala. Good morning. Happy Sunday to our listeners.
And did you get to do any fishing last week?
I did not get to do any fishing this week, unfortunately. I had spent a lot of time in the office, but a lot of my friends went out fishing, and I'm hoping to, we've got a girls have a tournament this coming weekend, so I'll be out this weekend.
Hot dog. Well, I know we had some excitement over the last week, which we'll talk about in a minute. Let me give out some stats this morning. Looking at the tides, high tide has already happened at 1:16 this morning. Low tide has already happened at 7:34 this morning. Next high tide will be at 1:31, and the final low tide will be at 7:44. So take your pick. We have them moving. According to the NOAA, now Carolyn's going to disagree with me, but according to NOAA, we have small craft that should exercise caution today. They're saying that the winds are 10 to 15 knots with gusts around 20. Seas are going to be 2 to 4 feet, with occasional seas 5 to 7 feet. Intercoastal waters with a light chop, slight chance of showers in the morning. The beach report, the beaches are gorgeous. The only thing you got to look at is for no reports of I can't think of the word. The only thing you have to look out is we have rocks up under the beaches, and so just be a little careful about that. But other than that, it looks like it's going to be a gorgeous day if you want to go to the beach. And if you want to fish, well, I'm sure Carolyn's going to disagree with me. It doesn't, according to the NOAA, it's a small craft should exercise caution, but you're looking at the cam out there, and what do you see?
I'm looking at about 4 different cams up the coast, and it is almost so flat calm that you can see a mirror glaze on part of the water right now. And I can see the birds landing. That's how calm it is right now, looking at some of these street cams. So might pick up later. And you know what's funny is normally when I hear the trains at our house, that means the wind's coming from the west. So I did hear a little bit of train this morning, but it's flat calm.
Well, and according to the radar, very little activity, a little bit happening around the Miami-Fort Lauderdale area offshore. All of it is offshore. But other than that, it looks like it's going to be a clear day. And one of those days to get out there and enjoy what we got. Lots of sunshine.
Yeah, there's not a cloud in the sky right now. And I was looking at these palm trees out the window. And, again, not a breeze at all.
So I know that this last week you and I had a conversation, which one of the things that I stress on the show is that, it's kind of a rhyme, but it's true. If you want to protect what you love to the max, you need to talk to Carolyn at AllTrax. And this last week was the evidence of that. What happened this last week?
Well, I'll tell you what happened. I was laying in bed at 12:30 at night, and my phone I always keep on because you never know if a boat's going to be stolen. Customer texted me that his boat was just stolen, and he wondered if I could help him get up out of bed and help him kind of recover the boat. But what's so cool about our tracking is he was able to start self-tracking the boat. When the boat moved, he started getting alerts to his phone. So he basically had a friend where this boat finally ended up was actually down a one-way road in Fort Pierce, big 35-foot boat with a stolen trailer. One guy caught 3 bad guys in the woods cutting the engines off at 1 o'clock in the morning, 3 big brand new triple engines that were worth about $100,000. They dropped right into the dirt. These guys got startled, got in the truck, started driving away over a one-way bridge, and had 4 cop cars block the road with their lights on. They flipped their lights on just like a movie to blind them. Then these guys backed up the boat, put it into a canal, did more damage to the boat, got out and ran 3 men. They had 4 helicopters, 10 sets of dogs, and they closed down the Florida Turnpike looking for these guys till 3 in the morning. Never found them yet. But 4 boats were stolen that night, which is only 2 nights ago. But yeah, I was on the phone with the client till 2:45 until he got there and got his eyes on the boat. I stayed with him on the phone.
So this is the advantage of dealing with a small company, family-owned, locally owned, small company. Tell me that you're going to be able to get a hold of somebody at midnight or 1:30 in the morning with one of these big corporations. Good luck. All of our operators are busy. Please hold. That's what you're going to get. And you'll be probably holding for quite some time before somebody comes on. And at that point, they're going to have to go, oh, well, let me see them, see who I can contact. You hear me say all the time about protecting what you love to the max. There's a reason why I say that, and this last week is the evidence of that. If I'm not mistaken, it was literally within minutes that all of this occurred. These people didn't have the time that they needed to really get away with what they wanted to get away with. And the only reason, and I'm 100% positive of this, the only reason that happened is because the man loved what he had to the max, and he put an AllTrax in his boat, or what's on a trailer, whatever. It was tracked within minutes. They knew within 10 feet where this boat was at. In some, right, you told me it was some rural area, some, off the road, out of the way place, right?
Absolutely. So they stole it at 11:33 in the morning, and they took it 10 miles up the road to an access service road of a preserve. And these guys were not very smart. They took it to a one-way road, and they literally. I have pictures I'll post for our listeners of. I see right now that the gentleman posted 3 beautiful white engines cut off, 400 horsepower, laying in in the woods with police officers, sheriffs around there, and. So the boat was damaged, but it was, recovered. All the parts, even the electronics were stripped out of the boat, and they were put in the getaway truck. So when they crashed the truck and they all 3 got out of the truck and ran, the gentleman was able to get all of his electronics back. So he has everything, thank God, because it's very expensive stuff. But, it's going to take some time to put this thing back together. And the officers were surprised. They're like, this boat was within 10 feet of the screenshots that we were sending law enforcement where it was. So the maps that we did and the 10-minute updates, we've kept forwarding those to the law enforcement to get out there. And they literally shut down the Florida Turnpike for this air search.
I'm sad for the owner of the boat, but what an excellent testimony for AllTrax. If you have something that you really love and you want to protect it to the maximum protection that you can do, this is one of the things that you can do, AllTrax. And my favorite is the little portable one because it's not set for anything. You can put it in your pocket, you stick it in a jet ski, put it in your airplane, whatever. It's not limited to being mounted anywhere. And extremely portable, somewhat waterproof, I think to 3 feet, right? Waterproof to 3 feet? Or it'll sound off at 3 feet.
Yeah, it's actually fully waterproof, but will transmit down to 3 feet, which is great. So if it gets submerged a little bit, it'll still be able to peek through the water surface.
Excellent testimony.
But I'm very, very proud of what we did. And I just a quick note, the customer posted, he said, I want to yesterday was every boat owner's nightmare. I wanted to thank everyone who reached out to help, and especially the team at AllTrax. If it wasn't for them, the boat and motors would be gone. And basically said that he woke me up at 12:30 and she wouldn't go back to bed until we found the boat. So
awesome.
Pretty telling picture to see a nighttime picture of 3 huge engines laying on their sides with an officer, and I'll certainly post that up. It's those engines are about 50, almost 40,000 apiece.
Oh, my goodness. Awesome story. Well, speaking of awesome stories, I think this next guy is going to give me an awesome story. Then that happens to be Robert, but it's not it's not Florida Fisherman magazine anymore. What's the new name, Robert? And good morning, my friend.
It will be New World Angler, and we're working on it. We're getting it there.
Go ahead, Carolyn.
No, I was going to say I popped onto the page the other day to see if they did the name change, and there's so many good fishing stories and catches that are on there continually being updated.
And he didn't. Did you get to do any fishing last week, Robert?
I did not.
No, but you did something.
Next week should be different. So.
Yeah, but you did something
I did
that
a
was.
couple fishing reports and sat and talked with Patrick Price for a while. I think we're going to go out next week or the week after. We're looking for the right day for what we want to do. So.
Uh-huh.
But yesterday was the first day of grouper season, and I saw a whole bunch of grouper pictures coming in.
Oh, cool.
including a great one of Charlie Rogers from Against the Grain Charters with their new baby sitting on his lap, and a red grouper bigger than the baby.
How awesome is that? Well, I know that the last week you got to do something awesome as well, and that was spend time with your family.
Yes, it was. It was great, and it's been great.
Where did you end up in?
A couple of weeks, and
was it up in Orlando?
Here.
Oh, it was here. Oh, okay. I thought you were out of town. I was going to ask you if it was up in Orlando, how hot it was, because we had a couple of days here that were just scorchers. I couldn't believe it. We're not even close to summer yet. And I'm not kidding you. It felt like it was, well, first of all, I went to a celebration last Sunday, a Patriot celebration, and there was a lot of people there. It was a nice ordeal. But the thing that killed me was the heat. And I remember from my days in spending on the West Coast, it seems to be, I don't know, it just seems to be a lot hotter when you're on the West Coast or in the middle of the state. So that's why I was going to ask you about
if you're in the middle of the state, you've got no breeze. You've got
it gets
that ocean
just,
breeze
oh my
helps you
gosh,
a little bit. You don't realize it when it's 90 out, but it does help. So
yeah. So what have we got going on with regard to tournaments that you can tell us about?
Tournaments, not a whole lot I can tell you about right now. I've been busy doing other stuff with the magazine and getting formats switched and stuff, but I don't know. We can always check in with Summer Warren though and see what's going on at on her website.
I think there was
stuff on there.
Something happening yesterday. Carolyn, you know about anything? A dolphin tournament yesterday or something like that?
I don't know about yesterday.
This is normally the time of year when Jack does his big mahi tournament down in Marathon.
Maybe that's
Carlson, what. So that's probably going to be going on here in the next week or two.
Yeah,
it normally coincides with the beginning of grouper season. He does his big mahi tournament.
Go ahead, Carolyn.
Well,
I've been down there and fished both, so.
I was going to say, the girls are pretty excited. We haven't, the Pink Ladies haven't fished in a while, but Carol Strickland, myself, and a couple of girls will be fishing Michaela's Trash Can Slam this coming Saturday, and that is the tournament Riscala for the autism. So that's a
awesome.
Local. There'll be about 50 boats in that. We're pretty excited to fish. It helps raise some money, and I donated a tracker, and Carol donated some of her mermaid vodka. So hopefully that'll raise some money for the cause, which is should be a good meat tournament.
And where is that one going to be held at?
Sure, that's going to be out of the Pompano Beach area. So the weigh-in is going to be at a place called Taha Marine, which is Atlantic and the Intercoastal. This is a real. She has a family member with autism and started this a bunch of years ago. And remember, she was on her show. She's a young girl, so she started this when she was like
awesome.
I think 19 or 20 years old.
No, I think she was younger than that when she had the idea, if I remember right.
Yeah, I think so.
It's a great testimony to the younger generation, how they can focus on something and bring it forward. Really, really a great testimony. We'll have to have her on after the tournament and see how everything turned out. So it's called the Trash Can.
Pompano and tournaments. Carolyn, isn't that huge tournament that they run out of Pompano in June sometime or May?
We've got the 35th annual Ladies Fish Off, which is the first Saturday in May, June 5th. Fun kickoff party.
Have a huge tournament they run out of Pompano. They run it every year. They have forever.
Yeah, that was canceled. That was the big, around the seafood festival time. That was the Pompano Rodeo, fishing rodeo.
Yeah.
It used to be a 3-day event, and then it went to 2 days. And last year, unfortunately, the organizer's son passed away, and I think they kind of discontinued it, but that was a huge ordeal. It was 51 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, and there was normally like 100 or 200.
Yeah, very, very big.
Wow.
Yeah, and there was I think there was a Meat Mayhem tournament last weekend, unless I missed a week, and there was a 58-pound kingfish was caught, and Trey came on and told us about his big bluefin tuna episode, but there are tournaments coming up, which is great. There's a lot of bait out front, which people can do some live baiting, and hopefully we do well this weekend. We haven't fished as a team for a while, but hopefully Robert will have some pictures for you.
Faded out there. I couldn't hear the end of that. So
I was going to say hopefully we'll have some good pictures for the magazine. It's the first time the girls fished for a while together.
That'd be great. Send them to me.
Yeah, and I think Angelia's coming up too.
Oh, now we're in trouble.
Mahi finally.
She got it. She finally broke the ice. She finally got a couple of them.
Oh, did she? Good.
Yeah, she finally broke the ice. So, with regard to the New World Angler, when do we expect to see that?
Middle of June.
Oh, okay, not very far off. Well, that'll be here before you know it.
Yep, and we've got a lot of folks from Texas and Louisiana and California and Minnesota and New Zealand and Australia.
Wow.
We've got stories that they've been sending in, so we'll collect it all and put it together.
Wow. So, how when you do go to New World Angler, how are they going to find you then? Is it going to be newworldangler.com?
Well, no, it's newworldangler.org.
Okay.
And you'll see it way before it's out. I can guarantee you that on Facebook. So we'll do a lot of promotion for it before it gets there. So.
And how's it looking where you're at right now, Robert? I've got a gorgeous day here.
It's absolutely beautiful. I just looked and it's a southwest wind at 8 miles an hour. So it should be fairly calm outside, I would think. So.
Yeah, Carolyn says it's like a puddle out there. Go ahead, Carolyn.
I was going to say, isn't that funny? Like I said, Robert, when I barely hear the trains, but when I hear the trains, it means the wind. I can hear them in bed. It means the wind is coming from the west. And that's just funny that you just said that. But yeah, it's close to shore. It is flat and mirror calm.
It's unbelievable.
Yep.
And they're saying there's small craft advisories up today. Isn't that crazy?
That's impossible.
That doesn't make sense. But that's according to NOAA.
Unless it's for late in the afternoon or something. But right now it shouldn't be, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Like I said, I did a fishing report with Patrick Price the other day. I went over and just shot a video with him, and he had been out. They had a marlin on for 55 minutes and broke it off. He caught 5 mahi, released 2 sails, tagged them both. Had a great day. And he said, I said, how was the weather? He goes, not bad. He goes, it was probably 3 or 4 feet out there.
Wow.
He goes, but he said when he first started to go out, they almost canceled because, like you said, he said they showed a small craft warning. He said, so we went to the inlet to check it out. It wasn't bad. We went out and I asked the customers if they wanted to stay, and they said, yeah, so we went. So,
wow.
he said it wasn't bad at all.
It's funny how that some stuff like that happens. I looked at the radar, and there's really nothing happening on the radar. There's no activity. I wanted to ask you if you can answer this question for me, because I'm ignorant when it comes to this. When they catch a sailfish or whatever, and they tag it, is it typically, what do they tag it with? It's like literally like an ID tag?
Yes, it's like an ID tag, and it's funny that you talk about tagging. When we were doing the report, Patrick was talking to somebody, one of the other captains, and he said they just caught the sailfish I released last week in Miami today.
Wow.
Because if you tag them, they report the tag. So he caught it a week ago in Stewart, and a week later they caught the same fish in Miami. So
that's awesome.
Wow.
That's amazing that they can travel that far. I'm thinking that's kind of silly of me, but wow. So I guess it's like a number or something, right? A little tag with a number on it. They put it in their back, or they stuck it in the back of the fish or something. And so you catch one and it's tagged, and who do you call?
FWC with your tag number.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it's amazing. It's amazing how these sailfish move, and they'll track them up and down the coast sometimes. I don't know. Maybe it's just silly of me to think that, but I'm thinking they're here and they're kind of in this area, and they go out to the deep, out east of us, and then come back, not go all the way down to Miami. That's a 90-mile stretch from us. That's quite a ways.
Yep.
Wow.
Well,
that's
and
surprising.
What do they swim? 60 miles an hour, something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we looked at that up as the fastest swimmer.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. They can move right along, so it doesn't take them long to get to Miami. So.
My goodness. Well, they have the expressway. They don't have to worry about traffic, right?
Yep.
Oh, my
goodness.
Bait, All right, Robert. Well, thank you. It is an honor to have you on this morning and give us the update, and looking forward to the New World Angler. I'll be looking forward to that. In the meantime, we still are the Florida Fisherman magazine.
That will always be on Facebook.
All right.
The Florida Fisherman magazine page will always be on Facebook.
So that's one of the areas you can find him. And then there's a web page, and the web page is what?
www.flfishmag.com for now.
For now. And stories, if they have pictures or stories they want to send you?
That will never change. You can send those to pages@flfishmag.com.
Excellent. Robert, thank you. Appreciate it, my friend. Let me give Carolyn an opportunity to say goodbye to you. I wish you an awesome day. By the way, are you going bicycling today?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's a
Too early
good.
to
Looks like that kind of day. All right, go ahead, Carolyn.
I was going to say, make sure you put that sunblock on your face when you get on your bike, because it's a beautiful day to be out there.
Yeah, you guys have a great week.
Thank you, Robert.
Thanks,
God
Robert.
bless.
You're listening to the Fishing in Florida show. We'll be right back.
When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers. But that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on adoption, visit adoptuskids.org. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Thinking of moving? Before you do anything else, call Diane Whittick. She provides a concierge service. Things like having your home or condo packed and shipped. Even take care of your home repairs or upgrades. Diane has the expertise to get it done. As a seller, you will have constant contact. She will furnish you with bids on any services that might need completion. Air conditioning, plumbing, handyman, and even cleaning. Living up north and have a home to sell here in South Florida? Just give her the keys, address, and a signature. Your payment will be wired when the property is sold. That's right, Diane does it all. Thinking of buying? Diane has great listening skills. Tell her what you want, give her your budget, and like a genie, she will make your real estate wish come true. There's no regrets when you choose Diane Whittick. To reach Diane, call 561-247-5478. That's 561-247-5478.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Laser Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
Do you have an unusual pet? Did you know that the Rainforest Clinic in Loxahatchee specializes in exotic pets? They see pets that other vets don't. Parrots and chickens, ducks, geese, turtles, snakes, goats, pigs, lizards, and even monkeys. Are you a beekeeper? Dr. Clubb, the first of her kind in the area? Yes, she takes care of bees as well. Dr. Susan Clubb has decades of experience and known around the world for her reputation as a premier avian vet. Located at 3319 E Road in Loxahatchee, just a short distance north of Okeechobee Road, you will find a modern clinic with in-house labs, which allow you to get your test answers quickly. You can find them online at www.susanclub.com. That's www.susanclubb.com. Or you can reach her at 561-795-4878. It's Dr. Susan Clubb. That's 561-795-4878. The Rainforest Clinic located in Loxahatchee. 561-795-4878.
Want to give your pet the celebrity treatment? Have you heard of Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care in Royal Palm Beach? They're located just off State Road 7 and have been servicing the area for 14 years. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care is the home of the Blueberry Facial, also specializing in tartar removal with 8 years of assisting in dental procedures. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care? They're more than just about dogs. They are the only experienced cat groomer in the area. They also cater to all breeds and sizes and open 6 days a week. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care, located just north of the Super Walmart in Royal Palm Beach. You can find them at 250 Business Parkway. They specialize in shampoos with no extra charge. Flea and tick dips also available. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care. You can give them a call at 561-793-9992. They also provide gift certificates for those looking for that special present. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care. 561-793-9992. They're located in Royal Palm Beach. That number, 561-793-9992. Call for your appointment today.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
We have ignition. Strap in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day. It's caught me a grouper. So I'm fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah, fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah, I'm fishing and
Good morning from the Sunshine State. Broadcasting from Palm Beach County, it's the Fishing in Florida show. Sundays from 8 to 10 a.m. And now, here's your host, Riscala.
All right, we are back. It is the Fishing in Florida show. There's a couple of different ways that you can listen to the show. The easiest of those ways, of course, is to download our app, and the app can be found in the Play Store, and you find it under WTRM Radio. That is one of the ways, the easiest ways of all the ways to listen to the show. Another way you can listen to the show is if you're on Facebook, you can go to our Facebook page, Fishing in Florida Show, and click on Contact Us. And that's another way you can listen to us. If you're on the web, www.fishinginfloridashow.com is another way that you can listen to us. If you have the TuneIn app, you can listen to us through the TuneIn app on Marina Rock Radio. A big thank you to Marina Rock. They allow us to utilize their servers on Sunday morning and get their airwaves and their listeners. Big thank you to Marina Rock out of Miami. So several different ways you can listen to us, and we try to make it as easy as possible, and ever so grateful that you join us. This morning, I have Carolyn with AllTrax with me as my co-host, and if you want to protect what you love to the max, you got to talk to Carolyn at AllTrax. I got some background noise coming in, Carolyn.
Background noise for me? I'm not even moving, Riscala.
Somewhere, no, so I hear a conversation or something happening in the background. Anyway, welcome back, my dear.
Yeah, absolutely. I just poked up my head out the window again, and boy, I'll tell you, even our little canal, and it's not even have a ripple on it.
Wow. So maybe you can sneak out today on the boat and do some fishing.
I tell you what, you just gave me the tide report. We've got to wait till a couple hours for the water to come in. It's uncovered, and I'm going to give that a try. I know I have about one box of squid, one box of shiners. Even just getting out front and just dropping down about 60 feet would be fun.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. Well, I took the dog out like I do every Sunday morning, and we are experiencing that, I call it the summer mornings, where you can tell there's a very slight amount of cool left, but it is muggy, and that's what we ran into this morning. I said, "Oh gosh, it's coming strong." It seems like it's coming very, very quickly. I mean, my gosh, we're just first couple of days of May, and we had that one day last week. That was a scorcher. That thing was, my gosh, that had to be up into the 90s. I don't know how people hung out all day long and did that. That's why when if we're going to go fishing, I like to have somewhere I can hide. We even, one time, I know people are going to laugh, one time we had a big beach umbrella, and we stuck it in the, where you put your pole, I can't think of the word, we stuck it in the outrigger,
right.
And stuck it in there, and that helped, because the boat we were on didn't have much shade at all. Sometimes it just gets so hot, you're looking for anything. I don't particularly care to jump in the middle of the ocean. I have a friend of mine who just adores being able to get out in the middle of nowhere and jump off the bow of the boat and swim for a couple of minutes and come back in. I'm not a big fan of that. There was an occasion where he did that, got back in the boat, and when he got back in the boat, I mean, like literally within seconds after him getting back in the boat, fish were swimming all around us, and before we knew it, there was a shark in the area. So I don't know if it was him jumping in the water had anything to do with it or just coincidence, but that's why I don't like to jump off the boat in the middle of the ocean. You don't know what's going on out there. Oh, my goodness.
I agree 100%, and that's like jumping out of a perfectly good airplane to skydive, and I have friends that jump out, and it's so still. All I can think about is the vibration that their body's making and what's going to come eat them, and I will not do it.
I don't know if you remember this, but there used to be people who would swim across from like Cuba to to Florida, I don't mean people avoiding the communism. I mean, like as a sport. They used to swim from, I think it was Cuba to Miami, or Cuba to Key West. I'm sorry. I think it was Cuba to Key West. I think. And I don't recall. I know it was some swim thing, and they would swim forever in a day. My gosh. I don't know. I don't know if I could last that long without freaking out that something's going to come up and nibble at my toes or something. But in respect to that, I have no problem in, like, we used to go to my favorite place down there in the Keys, Alligator Light. I'd snorkel all the time, and it was like 20, 25 feet. It's clear. It's you can see all around you. Rarely did we ever see anything other than barracudas. I think was probably the most common predator, big predators that we saw. Other than that, it was amazing, just amazing, the fish that are there, especially if you can, right around the lighthouse, there are some of the, there used to be, I haven't been there in years, but there used to be some of the greatest variety of fishes that you could ever imagine. The colors are just something that you would think you're watching a movie almost, like a underwater documentary about fish. That's how it was. Again, I haven't been there in a while, but according to my Florida Salty Cowgirl, it hasn't changed much.
Well, I have to tell you, she'll tell her about her trip later on, but she took a group of girls out snorkeling yesterday, so I'm sure they had an amazing time. Then they went to the sandbar, so I can't wait to hear about that. But I'll tell you what else is fun. A lot of these cameras that I'm hooked on, that I look at before our show, actually have an underwater version that's attached to these piers. So Deerfield Beach has an underwater cam that you can see all kinds of things like kingfish and snapper going by, and it's pretty fun to watch. It's almost like it is your own private aquarium.
Now wait a minute. I didn't have no idea that. So how do I find this? If I'm looking for, what's the query that you put in, or because it's easier to give me the query so I can find it.
So I usually look up Deerfield Beach underwater cam, or or just look up Earth Cam, and you can go to anywhere in the world. But normally the one I just go to is sunny.org, sunny.org, and then you could just click on the webcams. But yeah, I'll post up the link. It's fun to see the underwater cams.
Let's see, I had no idea that they had underwater cams too. And now how cool would that be to be watching the underwater cam and see these fish swim by? I don't know. That might.
It'd be really cool, and it's a fishing pier also. So I just wonder if I'm going to get lucky one of these times and I see one of these fish bite a hook. That would be kind of fun.
Now, that would be a sight, and you'd have to be able to. Too bad. I wonder if they record all that stuff where you can go back and play it for people. That's pretty awesome if you could catch that at the right moment where somebody has hooked something and they're fighting with it, and you're getting to see it live. That's pretty cool. So, what was the other thing you told me about? You mentioned something else?
I go to sunny.org.
Yeah, I got that.
And then click on webcams. That one gets you all the webcams. Oh, let me look real quick. I think it's earthcam.com, and that takes you anywhere. Yeah, earthcam.com, and you can pick any country, any place. It's amazing. You can all the cameras around the world that are mounted.
I love to talk about technologies, particularly some of the technology that you have, because of it's just awesome to think that you can have something really small, really, really small, so small you can slip it in your pocket. But God forbid, if something happens to you, they can find you very quickly within 10 feet of anywhere. And then we get to talking about this stuff, and this is like amazing. We have cameras all over the earth that you can link into and see. When you think about it, growing up, we had nothing. A camera for me was a Polaroid. I was lucky if I could get a Polaroid, but most of the time it was like those little throwaway cameras with the cartridges that used to stick in the back with the film, and that was as close to a camera as we had. Now it's so commonplace. It's like just it's an awesome thing to think of when you consider that anywhere on the earth, not literally anywhere, but just about anywhere on the earth, there's some kind of a camera that you can link into and see what's going on.
Well, I have to tell you, just for fun, I just clicked on Aruba beachfront cam, and I'm looking right now at Aruba, flat calm, tiki thatches, the beach has been groomed, palm trees are moving, and I'm right now looking at Aruba. So what, if you get stressed out, any of our listeners, go to earthcam.com and pick your favorite place you'd like to be. There you are.
I know they have the Google Earth thing, but this is a little different. The earthcam.com and sunnycam. What was it? Sunnycam.org?
Sunny.org, and then just click on webcams. That'll be local South Florida areas down from Hollywood Beach, the Port Everglades, real fun stuff. So, hey, if you feel like you need to get on a vacation, you get a little feel like a pressure, just jump on and pick a spot, and you're at the beach. So that's why I like doing it. It kind of helps.
Yeah, you can take your mind off some of this stuff, and some of the things that helps take the stress off is knowing that you have something that like we talked about earlier, somebody takes something that belongs to you. You have some of the highest and most secure way of knowing that something is happening. Technologies, those of you who don't know, technology is how I make my living, so I love technology. And I particularly am tickled, if you will, with the technology that Carolyn represents, because I've always been a wireless, long before wireless was popular. I was introduced to it as a kid, as a walkie-talkie, and it flabbergasted me. I just fell in love with it. It's one of those things that I could never get enough of at that point forward. And so we've moved from a walkie-talkie, a little box that you can talk to, if you're lucky and the conditions are good, 5 or 6 houses away. We've moved from that to something that is a fraction of that size, and it can be located anywhere on the planet. Isn't that awesome? That's kind of just goes to show you how much our technology has improved in certain areas, and how it can help us. Again, I'm sad for that man that had his boat stolen, but I'm happy that he had somebody that knew what they were doing, that sold him a product that truly proved itself. And my favorite, I know I've said it several times, is the little one, the little pocket one. And now I think you're coming out with a smaller one, right? They're working on a smaller one?
Yeah, we actually have it here in your neck of the woods. We've got 4 of them out for testing right now that are even smaller. They're going to be attached to some equine. But I have to, go back to this gentleman. Can you imagine when I always tell people, when you start getting 1 or 2 messages from the boat and you're not on the boat, it's time to get your eyes on it. I can't imagine at 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, him thinking his boat's stolen and actually picking up the phone and having to call me. I mean, I can't imagine what he was going through. And then the anxiety of, okay, it's going up I-95. What exit are they going to get off of? Because our trackers track every 10 minutes. So you kind of have to think ahead of these guys as you're watching them go up 95 and what exit they're getting off, where they're going to end up. And what's so cool, Rascala, is once this tracker stops for 5 minutes, that's where it says the final report is. So that's how they were able to know exactly where to go, what side road. They said, hey, we found this boat in the middle of nowhere on a road to nowhere. And, that was pretty cool.
There's no way on God's green earth they would have been able to do that without the ability of the tracker on that boat. And like I said, the one that tickles me the most is this one it's completely portable. You put it wherever you want, and you take it with you if you're going on a ship or something, and God forbid something happens. You put one in your back pocket. You're not going on a ship, you're just going out on your own boat. You stick it on your boat, or you stick it in your back pocket. It's that's what I like about it. Whether you're on your jet ski, whether you're in your aircraft, whether you're on an iceberg, I can't get over that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, we've even put this tracker on pumps that are being thrown out of helicopters for fighting forest fires. That way, the guys can go back and find their equipment, the firefighters, after the fact.
Wow.
Yeah, we've got, we're doing a project now with logging. Like, they're actually putting it on logging equipment to know vertically how much wood has been. They trim the trees off before they cut the trees down. They trim the branches off. So we're doing a test project there where vertically it's going to tell how many feet of lumber the equipment's moved through. or even something as simple as there's a vibration sensor. So some people are just putting our little mini Trax that you like on a compressor. So if it starts up, it wakes the tracker up, like poking it, and now the customer can bill for how many hours the generators or the equipment has run.
Wow.
So there's some really cool stuff that we are doing now with the tracker. So not just theft, it can be production. We've got guys that run charter boat businesses in Cabo, Mexico from Illinois. They know, when the boats are going out, they can move the tracker boat to boat, like you said. Some guys go from boat to ATV if they're hog hunting in Florida, or they run up to the fish camp.
That's why I like it. Yep.
Golf carts, everything.
And, it's one of those things that just totally makes sense to have. That's why I make that rhyme. If you want to protect what you love to the max, this is what you have. You have AllTrax. I'm reminded of those two young men in their teens who had grown up on the water. Their whole life had been on the water. And they went out on a boat, and they were lost. And they didn't have this with them. And I am absolutely certain, had they had one of these with them, I think they would still be here with us today. They would have been able to have been located very, very quickly. And all of that could have been avoided with something so small that can fit in the palm of your hand. That's the thing. It's not that, I've mentioned it to a couple of people, and they go, well, I'm not planning on having any problems. I take care of my boat. And, there's a couple of other excuses. And I said, well, when you get into a car and you put the seatbelt on, are you planning to get into an accident as well? What is the purpose of the seatbelt? Nobody wants to get into an accident. But you want to be able to protect yourself as best as you can, and that's why you wear the seatbelt. The same thing with a piece of property that you own that you've worked so hard to get. Somebody decides that they want to take from you. It's just the proper, in my opinion, it's just a prudent thing, if you will, to do to protect it to the maximum that you can protect it. Again, it's just something that I get tickled with because I'm a technology nut, and we're up against the break already. Anyway, we'll be right back. We're gonna take a break. It's the Fishing in Florida show. Got off on a little bit of a technology, but kind of related to what we're talking about because this is something that if you've got a boat, this is something really you should consider. If you've got anything, really, this is something you should consider, and it's very inexpensive, very affordable. It's not something that's going to cost you an arm and a leg, but it is something that's going to give you a lot of peace of mind. Here we go.
You're listening to the Fishing in Florida show with your host, Riscala Stevens. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Thinking of moving? Before you do anything else, call Diane Whittick. She provides a concierge service. Things like having your home or condo packed and shipped. Even take care of your home repairs or upgrades. Diane has the expertise to get it done. As a seller, you will have constant contact. She will furnish you with bids on any services that might need completion. Air conditioning, plumbing, handyman, and even cleaning. Living up north and have a home to sell here in South Florida? Just give her the keys, address, and a signature. Your payment will be wired when the property is sold. That's right, Diane does it all. Thinking of buying? Diane has great listening skills. Tell her what you want, give her your budget, and like a genie, she will make your real estate wish come true. There's no regrets when you choose Diane Whittick. To reach Diane, call 561-247-5478. That's 561-247-5478.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Laser Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
Do you have an unusual pet? Did you know that the Rainforest Clinic in Loxahatchee specializes in exotic pets? They see pets that other vets don't. Parrots and chickens, ducks, geese, turtles, snakes, goats, pigs, lizards, and even monkeys. Are you a beekeeper? Dr. Club, the first of her kind in the area? Yes, she takes care of bees as well. Dr. Susan Clubb has decades of experience and known around the world for her reputation as a premier avian vet. Located at 3319 E Road in Loxahatchee, just a short distance north of Okeechobee Road, you will find a modern clinic with in-house labs, which allow you to get your test answers quickly. You can find them online at www.susanclub.com. That's www.susanclubb.com. Or you can reach her at 561-795-4878. It's Dr. Susan Clubb. That's 561-795-4878. The Rainforest Clinic located in Loxahatchee. 561-795-4878.
GTG, BRB, OMW, be there in a few. You may think that these kinds of texts are fine because of their length, and you can easily send them at a stoplight. But no, answering one text can take your attention away from the road for 5 seconds. And traveling at 55 miles an hour, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Make good decisions, don't text and drive.
While other stations just talk a good game, we win it.
Hey, sounds like somebody's having a lot of fun.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing in Florida where the sun shines all day. They just call me a grouper. 'Cause I'm fishing in Florida. Oh yeah, fishing in Florida.
Good morning from the Sunshine State. Broadcasting from Palm Beach County, it's the Fishing in Florida Show. Sundays from 8 to 10 a.m. on the WCET FM network. And now, here's your host, Riscala.
All right, we are back. It is the Fishing in Florida Show. Good morning to you. If you're just joining us, welcome, and it is an honor to have you join us. Several different ways you can listen to us. The easiest of all of those is download our app. It's absolutely free. There is no spyware. There are no push notifications. There is no adware. It's just an easy way to listen to our network. And you can find that on any of the major stores. I believe it's in all of them now. WTRM Radio. That is our network, and that's just a way to listen to the network. And, of course, on Sunday mornings, you can listen to the Fishing in Florida Show. It is truly a pleasure to have you join with us in the show. Oh, waking up this morning. Well, let me welcome back my co-host. That is Carolyn. She's with AllTrax. You want to participate? You love the max. You want to talk to Carolyn at AllTrax. Welcome back, Miss Carolyn.
Thank you, Riscala.
And I believe we have Ashley on. Ashley just got promoted, and I wanted her to come on and share with us. That's Captain Tim and Ashley Hoban. And welcome. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We're waking up, too.
Go ahead, Carolyn.
Yeah, we did this 20 minutes ago, the old wake up slap in the face kind of thing. But absolutely welcome to the show.
She's kidding you. The dog gets me up at 4 a.m. every day. And I figured it out. It's the sprinklers.
Oh.
The pump's waking him up, then he wakes me up. So.
Oh, there you go. So you change your setting on your sprinkler to 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Well, I saw the post about somebody got a promotion, it looks like, and I wanted you to come on and share with us a little bit.
Oh, it wasn't really a promotion. It was just we got some shirts made. It made it more official.
Oh, okay.
We didn't make the shirts. It's something we should have done like 6 years ago. My buddy Kevin, which he's coming down fishing in a couple weeks, but he sent us a present with some shirts, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I should have had this so long ago.
Yeah.
It looked really good. They did a good job for you. So I take it you guys have been out fishing, right?
Every day almost.
Oh, my goodness.
We're trying to take Sundays off just because from like March 1st to April 30th, I think we had 5 days off in a 60-day period, which was awesome.
Oh, my goodness.
You know, help us a lot, be able to keep what we got, because last year was really rough not having March and April. So that was great. But we're trying to start taking Sundays off so we can like deal with grocery store and visit family. And when you get up at 5 a.m. every day and you come home and it's 5 p.m., by the time you're doing laundry and cooking dinner at 10 o'clock, you're like down the next day and up the next day. 60 days of this program,
Yeah.
I swear, throw me in the ring with McGregor. I'm putting it out there. I'll have him in under 60 seconds, flat out. It's down.
Well, I don't know how you do with the heat. How do you deal with the heat? With him?
Oh my gosh, I was listening to you talk about the heat, and we were talking about this. It's like we never, yeah, like we went from winter to summer. There was like no spring.
No in between. It was just from one side of the fence to the other. So,
Yeah, none of my pineapples bloomed.
Wow.
And they usually bloom every year around this time, and there's not even a flower showing.
Wow. Yeah, and it happened within days. If my memory is correct, we went from having nice, cool mornings and relatively cool days. I mean, they're like maybe in the 75, 76 numbers, somewhere around there. We went from that to like jumping to the high 80s all in 1 or 2 days. I went, wait a minute, what happened?
Yeah.
it was crazy. So
yeah, and absolutely. And I was going to say, I was able to see Riscala last weekend at an event, and we were standing on pavement, and boy, was it was 100, I think 102 Riscala, and that's when you definitely want to get on the water. So
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
At least like you get that breeze out there. You're always happy to see a cloud. You're like, thank God, I need this cloud.
I'm preparing the boat, though, for this season because I'm afraid it's going to be the one I stroke out on because, like, every time in August, my head's so hot from working the last 5 months straight that we're finishing wrapping the boat with the Lexan. I think it's what's called.
Lexan
and
glass.
we'll be able to, like, run the AC and have it cool down from the cabin is the plan. You know, I've never had that. So that would be cool to be at the wheel.
Really?
Be out of the rain, be out of the heat. Be out of the cold and make it, because I'm just in the element all day long, every day. You know, there's no relief. So that would be good for my health, I believe.
And it's a workout. It's literally a workout being out there every day like that. That's not something you can sit back on the couch.
Especially catching big sailfish, they'll work you over.
Oh my God.
So what seems to be the most popular thing going right now?
Well, every day is a different day out there.
Oh.
Because one day we'll catch 3 mahi, the next day
it's all sailfish.
The next day, not a bite.
Wow.
The next day, you know what I mean, like some kingfish. It's just, you got to be all over. Whatever you did the day before, don't go out there and expect to go back and do that same pattern or same depth or same location. Then it's a different day. It's a different day every day.
Wow.
So, like, sometimes I got to run 40 miles. I'll go down south, I'll go back down north, and then I'm like, go back in the middle, and then, we caught a fish.
Yeah.
Hero.
But we've gotten some new gear recently, and we're in love with it. I'm going to let Tim describe it all, but we nicknamed one of our new rod and reels the Killer.
The Killer.
Secrets of the perfect bowl.
No, just, you got it. This is part of it. Tell them all about it. Tell them about the Killer.
I've been a Shimano person my whole life, but lately I've been just destroying the stuff that I've had for like a long time, you know. So decided to upgrade to some of the newer stuff. And the Shimano Talica 25s, I got to say, a little bit pricey. It's like $700 just for the reel, but oh my gosh. It's like when you're in a Porsche and you're taking turns. Like you just reel down on that thing. The drag is so smooth. It's so responsive and quick. 5.3 to 1. And then it has a 2.2 to 1 I've never even used. I just love the 5.3 to 1, a nice big handle. And I have them on some 8-foot, 10 Daiwa Saltigas, I think that's what they're called.
Mm-hmm.
I believe so. And, oh my gosh, the combo is just a fight that usually takes the sail 30 minutes and they're exhausted and you bring them back and having a hard time and you got to revive them. We're down to like 7, 8 minutes, 10 minutes, bringing a sail in.
Top.
Releasing them, and he's spunky and taking off. You know, like the gear is improving the release ratio on fish that you don't want to keep. So, and when you get a good mahi on or something, you just whoop its butt. You know, it's amazing. Love it. I love the gear.
It falls right in line with what Carolyn and I were speaking about earlier about it, and technology in general. Here's the technology now being encapsulated into fishing. And the change in, you know, when I used to do deep sea fishing many years ago when I had a boat, we had nothing like that. It wasn't anything like that available. I'm shocked to see, not shocked, but surprised to see how technology has interwoven with in the fishing industry, the electromechanical. So I've seen reels that they tell you how much line is out, how much just all this information on the reel, for Pete's sake. So it's
yeah, we just got a Daiwa Tentacum 1000 for the kite, and I've been reeling that kite thing in for 6 years. I'm like, I don't know, is it too kite fishing? Now I'm like, we're doing kite fishing. You know what I mean? Just to pull out that toy and hit the button and be like, dun, 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 dun. You feel like this. Dun, 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 dun. With the manual one, you're like, does anyone want to
help me?
Feel how cool it is to reel the kite in? And then you got an ice pack on your right arm because your elbow's swollen up from bringing in the kite twice that day. You know, it's like game changer.
It is. It's awesome to see the technology moving in the different areas of our life. I think about the cell phones. How many different things has that taken? The little thing that you put in your hand that you can use for a phone, but it does so many more things. So it's really is. Technology has become kind of an integral part of our lives, day in and day out. And I see
it is, but that's the Achilles heel too, because now that technology can be manipulated.
Yeah, that's sad.
For any kind of purpose.
So,
well, I really love it for work because I take a lot of pictures and videos. And it is so much easier for me to create a video of the day and put it all together from my phone, as opposed to having to upload everything to the computer. And you know, I can do it within, 30 minutes. And it would have taken me a couple hours on the computer to do it.
I was trying to send a file the other day. I'm like, screw this. Got in my phone. 10 minutes and it's like file too large.
It is. It's amazing how technology in certain areas has just... So I wanted to ask you, this is something that just came to mind. Now, this is going to show my age. In my day, when we had, we call them depth finders, I think. But we had, you're going to laugh at me, we had paper. That this mechanical thing would give us an outline of the bottom of the ocean that we were under on paper. And now, from what I understand, I haven't looked at the technology. From what I understand, though, that's laughable, and everything is on a monitor, and it's in color. Is that right?
What happens when you run out of paper?
You're out of luck.
The guy on Waterworld.
You're out of luck. And there were times that we did run out. We ran it so long that we ran it out of paper, and you're just out of luck. It's not going to work anymore. So I'm curious, with regard to the technology now, they have monitors, right? And it's in color?
Oh, yeah. We got some, actually, Ashley's brother gave me a really nice present that I installed, some 16-inch Evo 3 touchscreen Simrads.
Holy smokes.
And next, I got to hook up to my autopilot, and then everything, which I'm a Garmin guy, but the Simrads are cool, but you got to buy all this extra stuff to get it to work. But once you have it all together, they say it's amazing. Like Garmin's, you drop them in, they're ready to go. So more of a caveman like me would be Garmin, because I'm like on these Simrads, what? I got to do what? Now I got to configure this? I was like having a heck of a time I'm proud of myself, but I had to take it to like Nick's once to get him to show me a few things. Nick's Creative Marine, awesome guy. Got to give him a shout out. I am repowering with him whenever I redo it, and he's also going to build me. He's working with Armstrong. He's going to do a CAD design, and we're going to put a bracket on my Grady White 330 Express and then close the back transom and rebuild the transom and make it handle some serious whatever I want to put on the back of it, like 3 425s or
Holy
just
smokes.
3 Suzukis. I want to be able to do 60, and I don't want the boat to break. So we're hopefully in September going to take it in and hook this thing up, because she only does 40. And when it's flat out, you feel like a canoe is going by you. You know what I mean? Like, come on. There's John boats going past me, and I'm like, sons of a gun. But when it's 6 foot, and it's 6 foot, I can run 30 through 6 foot all day long. That's where it shines. But when it's flat, I want to be able to go to Bahamas and back in the day and do charters like that. So a third motor on there will get me up to speed, and that's something we're going to try to do and put that into our arsenal of trips we can do. Like, hey, you guys don't want to go to West End for lunch? You know what I mean?
Wow.
Zip over and back on a nice flat day because you got the horsepower.
Yeah.
So I have a question. Maybe you guys know, because we want to take a trip to the Bahamas soon, and we know you have to do all the testing.
Not if you've taken the vaccine.
That's what I'm going to know if that's true, though. So Tim read that if you have the vaccine, they're going to just let you go in without doing the whole...
Both vaccines.
Yeah, you have to have both. Because we don't want to get vaccinated, so we'll have to do the testing. But for those that have been vaccinated, it sounds like you can just go over there.
They're promoting the vaccination.
Well, Carolyn took a trip down to Mexico, and what did they ask you, Carolyn?
Well, that's a funny story. So on the way to get into Mexico, a test was not required. On the way to get back into the United States, a test was required, and that was March 3rd. Excuse me. So, but as far as Bahamas, I just also read that if you have proof of vaccination, that you don't have to do all the paperwork to enter the Bahamian area.
Yeah.
Wow.
That test, do they stick a thing up in your sinuses, or is it a mouth swab? Like, because I had the flu a couple of years ago, and they stuck the thing up my nose, and like I got to tell you, it was a whole new level of fun. You think the strep test is a joke, you know, good time. If you want to get some info out of somebody, just give me a couple long Q-tips. I'll give them a strep test, give them a little, flu test. They'll be talking real quick. You know what I'm saying?
I can tell you that is an uncomfortable thing to do, but it's a little not a deep swab on the way back into the country. But yeah, when you get COVID here in the States, that swab is not pleasant.
Yeah. Gee, just the joy of having to deal with all this stuff has been. I think more damage has been done with their efforts of trying to stop it than it would have done by itself. It's just it's ridiculous. So if somebody wants to utilize your services, what do they do? How do they find you?
They can find us on Google Maps. So we're on Google Maps. It's My Islands Adventure Charter, and we're also on TripAdvisor. We're on Facebook, Instagram. So it's not in our website, which is myislandsadventure.com. And on there, it will have Captain Tim's number, and you just contact him, and then we set up a day and time, send them the information where we pick them up and, discuss the prices. And it's a private charter, so you're not booked with anybody else. It's one flat rate, and you can take up to 6 people.
And is it an all-day thing, a half-day thing, a third-day thing?
We actually have a lot of options. I haven't really looked at other captains to know, how they run theirs. But for us, we have an express fishing trip that we offer now that's 2.5 hours. And then we offer a 4-hour, which is a half day. And then we offer a 6-hour and an 8-hour.
Wow. So it's very flexible.
We also have like the fishing and snorkeling combo packs.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, and just snorkeling. So the snorkeling is only 2.5 hours that you're out. But our fishing and snorkeling is our like killer package.
Cool. All right. Well, I am really happy that you guys called in. It was truly a good time. It's flown by so quickly. This is what happens when we have somebody on and we're having a great time. Before you know it, it's a blink of an eye and we're off to another break. But want to wish you guys an awesome day. Thanks again. It's Captain Tim and Ashley Hoban. myislandsadventure.com. That's the place to find them. You guys are awesome. And let me give Carolyn an opportunity to say goodbye to you, and we're going to go to a break.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Having you guys on is like a comedy show, so we really enjoy it.
Awesome.
I can keep them going all day. She makes me talk. Otherwise, I just kind of go.
God bless.
Tight lines, you guys.
See ya.
All right. Bye-bye.
You're listening to the Fishing in Florida show. We'll be right back.
When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers. But that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on adoption, visit adoptuskids.org. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Thinking of moving? Before you do anything else, call Diane Whittick. She provides a concierge service. Things like having your home or condo packed and shipped, even take care of your home repairs or upgrades. Diane has the expertise to get it done. As a seller, you will have constant contact. She will furnish you with bids on any services that might need completion: air conditioning, plumbing, handyman, and even cleaning. Living up north and have a home to sell here in South Florida? Just give her the keys, address, and a signature. Your payment will be wired when the property is sold. That's right, Diane does it all. Thinking of buying? Diane has great listening skills. Tell her what you want, give her your budget, and like a genie, she will make your real estate wish come true. There's no regrets when you choose Diane Whittick. To reach Diane, call 561-247-5478. That's 561-247-5478.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Laser Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
Do you have an unusual pet? Did you know that the Rainforest Clinic in Loxahatchee specializes in exotic pets? They see pets that other vets don't. Parrots and chickens, ducks, geese, turtles, snakes, goats, pigs, lizards, and even monkeys. Are you a beekeeper? Dr. Clubb, the first of her kind in the area? Yes, she takes care of bees as well. Dr. Susan Clubb has decades of experience and known around the world for her reputation as a premier avian vet. Located at 3319 E Road in Loxahatchee, just a short distance north of Okeechobee Road, you will find a modern clinic with in-house labs, which allow you to get your test answers quickly. You can find them online at www.susanclub.com. That's www.susanclubb.com. Or you can reach her at 561-795-4878. It's Dr. Susan Clubb. That's 561-795-4878. The Rainforest Clinic located in Loxahatchee. 561-795-4878.
Want to give your pet the celebrity treatment? Have you heard of Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care in Royal Palm Beach? They're located just off State Road 7 and have been servicing the area for 14 years. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care is the home of the Blueberry Facial, also specializing in tartar removal with 8 years of assisting in dental procedures. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care? They're more than just about dogs. They are the only experienced cat groomer in the area. They also cater to all breeds and sizes and open 6 days a week. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care, located just north of the Super Walmart in Royal Palm Beach. You can find them at 250 Business Parkway. They specialize in shampoos with no extra charge. Flea and tick dips also available. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care. You can give them a call at 561-793-9992. They also provide gift certificates for those looking for that special present. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care. 561-793-9992. They're located in Royal Palm Beach. That number, 561-793-9992. Call for your appointment today.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
We have ignition. Strap in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day. It just caught me a grouper. So I'm fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah. Fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah. I'm fishing and
Good morning from the Sunshine State. Broadcasting from Palm Beach County, it's the Fishing in Florida Show. Sundays from 8 to 10 a.m. And now, here's your host, Riscala.
All right, we are back. It is the Fishing in Florida Show. And if you want to protect what you love to the max, you got to talk to my friend Carolyn at AllTrax. Welcome back.
Well, thanks, Riscala. You know, this is one of my favorite parts of my week.
I don't know what's happening, but I've got a couple of guests that haven't called in this morning, and I was looking forward to speaking with both of them. So we're going to have to make up for that somehow. Because I know one of them now is Joe Hector, and I know he's still got a newborn, so he may have been up most of the night enjoying what you get when you have a toddler. So that's possible. That's what's happened. He didn't get much rest last night, but we'll move on. We'll do other things. It is kind of amazing, though, when we go back to the technology aspect of all of this, how technology is all around us, even when we go fishing. It's it's still there. My gosh, I'm just thinking about all the different things that we talked about on the last segment. That they are a couple of characters. I'd love to be out fishing with them. I don't know if I would be having pain from laughing or pain from reeling in the fish. It was quite an enjoyable little episode there.
I'm telling you, Captain Tim and Ashley together, I mean, he plays off of her. He comes up with some one-liners, and I'll tell you, it would be a hoot to go fishing with those folks. Just to hang out. But yeah, absolutely. And I wanted to mention to our listeners, it's almost that time of year where it's hurricane season, which is coming up June 1. And it's a perfect time for any of those boaters to make sure they have all their safety equipment and life vests and flares and blankets and things in the ditch bags on the boats, because you never know when you get out there if you're going to get stuck in one of these storms that pop up. So that's a real important thing to start thinking ahead, even though it's 4 weeks away.
I had one experience that really was literally a hair-raising experience, and it was down there in the Keys by the lighthouse that I speak about so much, because that was like my second home down there. We were fishing not far from the lighthouse, maybe 100 yards, like a football field distance away, drifting back and forth, because right after the lighthouse is where the drop begins, and it goes from like 30 feet to 90 feet in a very, very quick amount of time, a very, very short period. We were drifting along, and I'm literally the hairs, what few of them that I have on my arms and my head, were, I could feel them like sticking out. And I looked at my brother and my dad were with me at the time. And I said, "You feel anything?" He goes, "Yeah, it feels." And I'm looking at him, and you could almost see the hairs on. He's got a lot more than I do, and you could almost see the hairs wanting to stick up. And I said, "I don't like what's going on. Pick up your lines. Let's leave." So, because we had lines, we had 4 or 5 lines out. There's only 3 of us in the boat. We were picking up the lines, and just as I started the engine and we got ready to get out of there, wham! Came down on top of the lighthouse, and it wasn't overcast per se. I mean, you could see storms way off. I mean, like 20, 30 miles away. But out of nowhere, this bolt of lightning came down and hit the lighthouse. And what we were experiencing was the buildup. I've heard that there's always a buildup. If you're close proximity, you can feel the buildup. And my gosh, that was one of the scariest things I'd ever experienced. And it was, sometimes you hear the crack and then you hear the boom. There was no crack. There was an immediate boom. It was kaboom. That's how close we were. It was amazing, but it was very scary. And I kept my distance from there for quite a while until all that stuff went away. Yeah. And if you've ever been out in a boat and been in a rainstorm, where it's pouring down rain. It's not like being in a car and you got your windshield wipers on. You can still see the road. You have something to drive on. You don't know where you're at. If you don't have a compass, we got caught out as kids in a boat, and it was just pouring rain. A little boat, not a very big boat, 16-foot whaler, and it was pouring rain. We lost direction. We didn't know which way the land was. Yeah, it can get pretty scary out there. That's not including some of these storms that come out of nowhere, because we're getting into that season. When is hurricane season official? Is it this month?
Hurricane season starts June 1, and I'll have to upload some footage for our listeners to look at on our page. We were out in our hydrosport, and this crazy storm came from nowhere with 60, 65-mile-an-hour winds, and we took some footage running back in, and it looked like a black wall. It's pretty amazing. And, to go back to the lightning, I had a couple customers that got hit by lightning when they were out in their boat, and it fried. I mean, it fried anything that was fiberglass. So a fishing rod exploded.
Oh, my gosh.
You know, they had burn marks underneath the outriggers, and I can imagine that's a pretty harrowing thing.
Wow. I couldn't imagine that you're out there and then get zapped like that. And I guess you're the highest point. There's nothing else around. Everything is flat. Your boat is the highest point, and that's what they say. It looks for the easiest way out, and that's the highest point. Wow. That is kind of scary. Well, those are not the kind of days you want to be out there.
Tell you a funny story. I used to have a 28-foot Mako, and there was a bad weather coming in, and I ran right into Hillsborough Inlet. I found the first dock I could find to hide, tie up and hide because it was lightning and thunder. And when I came out from the storm, from hiding underneath the helm, there was a 90-foot sport fish that was waiting right off of their dock space that I happened to take over, and they wondered if they could have their dock back. So,
a little embarrassing. Excuse me.
Exactly how that happened. That was an 80-foot Merritt that was called Real Tight, and those boys, they really were not happy hanging out in the rain because they were looking for their dock space too.
Yeah, it can get a little hairy out there, but the majority of the time, it is truly an enjoyable experience. But again, it's like the seatbelt in your car. You wear your seatbelt because you want to protect yourself, the maximum protection you can get. You need to have something with you, and the best of those things is a portable tracker. That's just my personal opinion. The one that you can stick in your pocket, and now that's even smaller. And if that works out, if that works out for you, you're going to have that available as well as a regular product. Because I know this is a special product right now.
Yeah, absolutely. We should be able to. We're ready to ramp up to make about 4,000 of those. So we're going to absolutely have it. And I'll tell you what I'm really excited about. In the near future, we're going to be doing a weather radar overlay on top of our maps. And why is that important? Not for the people that are out boating, because they have that electronics.
Yeah.
But what happens is somebody's overdue and a family member logs on to see the map because it's, say, raining here in Florida. Maybe their family's in the Bahamas on the way home, and they start panicking that somebody's caught in some of these storms. So if we're able to do a weather radar overlay, a family member can log on, see where the boat is, see where the storm is, and have that peace of mind that safety, I mean, we always talk about theft, but the safety aspect of it. So we're pretty excited about that. And, people having even multiple trackers. Sometimes they'll have a tracker permanently installed on the boat, and they'll take the other one, like you said, the same mini tracks, throw it in their pocket, walk around an island, and now they have two icons, two tracking devices on one map. So, it's really important for the safety. And I'll tell you what I'm excited about. We handle satellite phones now, and some of these satellite phones even have trackers in them and SOS buttons. And what's so cool about our satellite program is people can get a local number, meaning that if they dial, if they get incoming calls, they're not getting charged crazy satellite rates. There's no charge for incoming text. So it keeps people really connected, and you can suspend the phone service anytime you want, and nobody has that kind of program.
Well, I know that I remember going up to visit my daughter who was living in Virginia at the time. We're going through the mountains. We lost complete cell service, and something like that would have made all the difference in the world. We didn't have it, thank God we didn't have any issues, but if we'd had some issues of some sort, we wouldn't have been able to contact anybody. We would have had to hopefully flag somebody down that was coming down the road. So having something like that would have been a godsend. But I like the, remember we called that thing, the hot box, the hotspot?
Oh yeah, so it's a we could call it hotspot. It's a satellite hotspot, and the product is actually called Go. It's used everywhere from boating to mining to out in the woods, like you said. And I'll tell you, a lot of people are starting to buy them, and here's why. Let's say it's hurricane season, the power goes down, your cell service goes down. They can still get their emails through this little hotspot and continue operating their business. So that is really exciting. People are saying, hey, I got to get this not only for my boat, but if I need to operate my business if we have hurricane season.
That's awesome. This just shows you how technology can really be a very useful part of our lives. And is this the one that you can you use your cell phone, even though the cell towers are down, you can use your cell phone? Is that the one?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so you put the app in your phone, and then you use that app to connect to this hotspot. You use your existing phone. You can connect up to 6 phones to this device. It has email servers, so you can set it up to get all your normal email just like you would if you were on a computer like Outlook.
Oh.
It has SOS button. It has a weather capability. It also has tracking capability. Okay, it's totally creates a mobile office, your own mobile satellite network.
Now that is cool. So I'm curious now. You got my curiosity going. What is something like this? What does the service cost?
Great question. So the device is about $750. That's a one-time fee. The service is $65 a month. And the great thing is you can suspend it anytime, because a lot of folks don't use their boats during wintertime or certain months. So this, you can just call in, suspend the service, you don't get the bill, and then when you're ready to go back on, you just call and activate it again. So it's a really great program.
Do they charge every time that you activate and pause or whatever you want to call that?
Good question. So they charge you one time a $50 activation fee, which is normal for any cell phone, and that's it for the whole year. So it's a really great program, and with free incoming calls, free incoming texts, you can keep that bill really low for satellite service, and that's I pay $110 a month for my cellular service, so it's very good value. And the ability to be able to, if you had to hit a SOS button, a lot of us on our boats have radios with SOS buttons and things that are already permanently installed. But, who knows, like you said, you're out in the mountains, you have an issue, somebody falls and hurts themselves.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what happened the other day. A girl fell, and she was getting the last one to get off a boat that she was getting ready for a charter. She slipped, she hit her head, she then hit her ribs, she fell in the water, almost blacked out, she broke her ribs, and she was alone, and she had to pull herself out of the water.
Oh my God.
And went right to the, was able to then get help and went to the hospital. This was yesterday, and she fell off a mega yacht. So you never know when you're by yourself what's going to happen.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it's peace of mind. What is that worth to you? Because you have peace of mind knowing that you have the ability to be, if it's on you, to be found within 10 feet. Whatever that tracker is on, within 10 feet, that's, you think about that for a minute. And 10 feet anywhere. Not 10 feet here in the state, not 10 feet in the county, not 10 feet in the United States, 10 feet anywhere on the planet. That's pretty freaking awesome.
Right, and
That
we
really
confirm that with that boat theft, and we're sending pictures of that location, exact location, to police officers down a dirt road in the middle of nowhere at 1:30 in the morning. I mean, they've got to wonder, gee, we're going into the woods, we're never going to find this thing. And the officers were amazed. It was, I think, within 15 feet of where the little ping on the map was, and we're going to release that map today,
right.
So that people can see really where that thing was. But the chase was pretty amazing from what I hear.
Again, I'm sad for the man, but I'm sure there was a degree of satisfaction on his part, knowing that even though the boat, they did damage to the boat, even though the boat was damaged, he has the satisfaction of knowing they didn't get away with it. That to a degree has got to be worth a priceless number, whatever that number might be. Because I know from my experience, I happen to have something that people wanted a lot more than I did, and they stole it from me 3 times in 1 year. I had this car, and it got stolen 3 times in 1 year. I no sooner get it back, somebody steal it again. It was joyriders, and the last time they got caught, and when they got caught, it was, even though they damaged the car already, I got a degree of satisfaction knowing the little boogers we're gonna be behind bars at least for that night. So I know that there's a degree of satisfaction that you get from knowing that at least they didn't get away with it. They could have he could have never ever seen that boat again, or any part of that boat for that matter. And by the time that he would have found it, there would have been nothing left at all. So again, it's something that you can't put a price on. It's a peace of mind technology, and there's so many different things that Carolyn can offer you. That it's just awesome. I like the little portable thing. I love the idea of the hot box, because then if you're out somewhere and there's 3 or 4 of you and y'all need to make a phone call, you can do it all at the same time if you want. And it's since it's satellite technology, it doesn't matter whether you're in the mountains. It doesn't matter, if you're 5 miles offshore and out of cell phone service, because it doesn't utilize that service. And an excellent point coming up. We're in next month is going to be officially the hurricane season. And one of the first things that happens is the cell service gets all whacked out from a variety of things. People freaking out, making phone calls, those that are standing, those that get knocked down. In South Florida, we had several bad hurricanes. We had Hurricane Andrew was one of them. Telephone service and cell service wasn't the same for like 8 months down in Cutler Ridge, one of the areas that got hit pretty hard. 6 or 8 months we went for. The electric service was messed up. The phone service was messed up. The cable service was messed up. If you can have something to back up any one of those, that makes your life that much easier. And here it is. This is something that can help back up a couple of them. You can get your emails. I didn't know that you get your emails on that thing. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I'll tell you, one of our customers who owns Starbright, we'll have to have him call in. He likes to slip away and do a little filming, and actually just bought one a week and a half ago, and he's fully operational. And here's the crazy thing. He fishes in a 66-foot Viking that has all satellite equipment on it. It's so expensive to run that kind of satellite equipment to just go on emails that he bought this little hot box, this iGo, and uses that instead.
Awesome. I think we have Joe on. We're just about out of time for Joe, but I wanted Joe to come on and give us an update. Good morning, my friend.
Hey, guys. Sorry about the late call in. I had a rough morning with
figured.
the kid.
I told you. I told you. Did I call it or did I not call it, Carolyn?
You called it. That's exactly what Rascala said. You were up. With the
You probably had
Oh, yeah. I've been up before. Oh, yeah.
Well,
But, yeah, we had such a great tournament, the Exotic Bass Roundup. I think we talked about it the last time I was on your show, and that was our very first exotic freshwater tournament where peacock bass, clown knifefish, snakehead, we only had those type of fish as eligible fish in that tournament, and it ended up working out great. The winner, her name was Julie Garber, and female angler, and she rocked it. She got a big peacock, over 4 pounds, and which is big,
Wow.
for a peacock bass.
Yeah, that is.
And it was great. We had top guys in the clown knifefish division, first through third, and that was sponsored by Nautical Ventures. And all around, it was probably one of the most fun tournaments I've had in quite a while. Actually, it was not a lot of stress, a lot of good anglers, and just a lot of fun.
Hot dog. Well, I apologize because we are out of time for you on this particular slot, but I wanted to get you a couple of seconds in there. Maybe we can get you come back next week if your baby will let you sleep.
Definitely.
And give us a complete
Definitely.
update.
Yep. I would appreciate it. Yeah. Thanks for letting me just come in real quick. And I still wanted to call in as quick as I could. And hopefully we can schedule something for next week, and I can go more into depth about the tournament and the upcoming SummerSlam tournament.
Excellent. Yeah, because I really want to hear about that. All right, my friend. Wish you an awesome day. Carolyn, give you an opportunity to say goodbye to him as well.
Yeah, get yourself a nap in there, Joe, later on today. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, guys. Thank you.
God bless you, my friend. All right, I think we have Heather Smith on, too, at this point. Let's see if I'm correct. Good morning, Miss Heather, and welcome to the Fishing in Florida Show.
Good morning, everyone. How are y'all doing this morning?
Hey, Heather. How's it going? You're out in Texas?
I am in Texas, and it is raining cats and dogs here.
Oh, my goodness. Well, we won't tell you what it is here.
Yeah, no, it's horrible. We've got a high school tournament going on right now. It's the championship. So it's a 2-day tournament, and those boys and girls are not having the best weather conditions, let me put it that way.
It's nice that they're doing it as a high. Did you get a big turnout?
Yeah, we have some of the biggest high school tournaments here. We had 563 teams in the championship, which is there's two to a team plus a coach. So you're looking at 1,500 people on the lake right now just for that tournament.
Wow, that is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So what
we have some big tournaments. Go ahead.
What do you think is going to be the catch? What do you think is going to win?
Right now the weights are pretty low. I mean, we're looking at, they're getting, it's already past spawn. It gets bass. Obviously it's a bass tournament. So, we're looking at a lot of 2 and 3 pounders coming in. No, it's a 5 sack. So I think yesterday it was like 11 pounds is what my fishing partner's son brought in, and he was catching them, and we only had, I think, like, honestly, 19 pounds was leading, which is really, really small compared to, I just did the Sealy tournament 2 weeks ago, and we had 15 pounders, 10 pounders being brought in. It's just amazing to see how much these bass have shrank in 2 weeks after the spawn. So I think, it's going to be a really small sack up in New Caney, in the Caney area, where there's tons and tons of fish, but it's just the 3 pounders and the 2 pounders. And, people are laying in the boat right now with these kids.
Do you think that this, you're saying it's raining right now, right?
It is, which is usually going to produce a good bite, when it's raining. And so they're a little bit more out in the open. The water temperature's up a little bit. So you would think that they would be a little bit more aggressive, which usually an overcast or drizzle will bring a lunker to the table. So I'm hoping that may change the tide today,
And you mentioned temperature. What's your day like today?
You don't want to ask me that on the air right now because I literally am still sitting in my bed. So I just got a text message from my my partner saying the water temp's up. So that's why I was looking at it, and I put my glasses on and I called you guys. So it's warm, it's here, but we've been in our 80s here, I mean, I brought my kids swimming on Friday. So what does that tell you? We went out to the lake and went swimming. So we're good here.
Yeah, we're experiencing about the same. That's why I was asking. I'm just curious to see. It seems like it's the entire southern part of the United States. Did you experience going from a nice, cool kind of a winter to just a summer? There was no spring, and it was just kind of missing. Did you experience
actually, we even had more of an anomaly than that. We went through what we call the snowpocalypse. I don't know if you guys remember that, but yeah, we went through a winter, and then Hades actually froze over. So unfortunately, when that happened, I actually do owe a phone call now to a bunch of ex-boyfriends. I said I would never call unless something froze over, and it happened. And so, and then we went to, it got warm, and it just like you said, it was aggressive, and then it was kind of cool, and then now it's back. And last week I was in Venice, Louisiana fishing, and with Hunter Ledbetter. I think you guys know Hunter. And it was his birthday party, and we had a bunch of anglers come in from Florida, and out of nowhere it got super cold again, and we were out 80 miles in a 24-foot sea hunter in 10 to 12 Cs. It was,
oh my goodness,
it was brutal. It was brutal, and we were getting nailed over and over again trying to come in. I'll be honest, probably one of the worst days of fishing in my life when it comes to trying to battle the sea.
Yeah, it's no fun when oh my gosh, I can't imagine being that far out and having to deal with it.
Tossed around,
Holy smokes. That is a workout. That is a serious workout. Wow.
Yeah,
so,
we were bracing ourselves the entire time. It was pretty bad. Yeah.
I'm going to ask you a silly question, but this has happened to me many times. So when you finally got back and got on the land, could you still feel like you're on the boat?
That always happens to me. It always happens, especially when you get in the shower afterwards. I think we all have the same rule of don't close your eyes when you take a shower after you've been on a long boat. Because I don't know about you, but I always. If you do, you kind of open your eyes real quick as you're leaning forward. You're like, no. So, but yeah, it always happens. But we were up and at it the next day. I think that night, actually, we went out and did some other stuff in the local area. They do hog hunting on airboats there. You shoot them with 12 gauges, and then there's gigging, and there's lots of. Venice is a really cool area because it's like a sportsman's paradise. So it's. You go from one extreme to another, and then all of a sudden you're getting bull reds on inshore. So it's a great fishery.
So you mentioned about this snow thing. I'm sorry, Carol. I'll give you an opportunity in a second. I'm such a hog sometimes, but I'm so curious. You mentioned about the snow thing. Did you experience that personally, or was it in an area close to you?
No, it was where I live.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, where I live was really bad. I live in a very small town. I live on Lake Sam Rayburn. I live in Brooklyn. I live in a town of 223. Okay,
Holy
223,
smokes.
Great Bullet.
Wow.
Small town.
Yeah.
And so, but the reason I tell you the population is because finally on Wednesday, my pipes bursted. Okay, and when I called the plumber to have my pipes repaired because it was frozen, we were at 7 degrees here, and my house is on pier and beam, right? So the underneath where the addition had been built on, we never figured it would ever get to that kind of temperatures, you know? And so when I called the plumber and they said, we'll put you on the waiting list. And I said, where am I at on the waiting list? And she said, you don't want to know. And I said, yes, I do. She said, 219.
Holy smokes. Oh,
Yeah.
my gosh.
Wow.
That is,
Yeah,
that
so
is,
it was brutal.
that
It was
is-
super brutal. I thank God I have a big jacked up truck that's got 4x4. So I just went around and started delivering food to people that couldn't get out. That was pulling vehicles out. And so me and the littles just loaded up and put on our fishing bibs and put on all of our fishing gear like we were ready to go out there and bass fish, you know, in a cold tournament. And just went out and started delivering food to people that weren't able to get out or supplies to people and then pulling vehicles out.
Wow. Wow. Go ahead, Carolyn. Wow.
Oh, I was going to say, if you didn't know Riscala, Heather also does contributes to help Robert as an editor of Florida Fisherman magazine as well.
Mm-hmm.
So she's out and about, and you've got some cool tournaments you do too, right? You do some commentating on some tournaments.
I do, yeah. I do the Sealy Outdoors tournament circuit, and then I also I chose not to do it this season because I'm just too busy. But I was the analyst for the Elite Fishing League, which is the Elite Pro Redfish Series that's on Discovery Channel.
Wow.
And then so I do those two, and then now I've went on to do the social media I'm going on to do the social media with Texas Fish and Game magazine. And then I'm the outdoor editor and writer for Florida Fisherman magazine. I also write for Bay Area Houston magazine. And then I have my show on the Hunt Channel. And then I'll be down there with Ronnie Adams. Yeah, I know. I'm like, what don't? And then I'm also on Fishing in Arkansas, which is a radio show.
Wow.
And I know. But it's all the same content. Everybody's like, how do you do all this? I'm like, it's actually all the same thing. I just have to flip a switch and it goes to different stuff. So, but yeah, I'm as long as if it's got fins or feathers, I'm out there trying to shoot it or kill it. You know what I mean? Or catch and release when it's freshwater. You know?
Yeah. Oh, Lord. Well,
So when you female outdoorsman, Heather Smith her picture comes up.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
That's very heartwarming.
And I'm pretty excited to be honest with you. Out of all the cool stuff I get to do, next week, May 8th, is going to be one of my favorites. I am going to Lamar, Texas, and I've got 400 children that I'm going to be teaching how to fish and doing fishing techniques and casting techniques.
That is awesome.
That's going to be interesting.
That is make a difference in the child today, so they don't have to fight with the adult in the future. It's easier to have the child grown up as taking care of the issues that they may run into as they're growing up versus having them be an adult and have to deal with them. It's a lot harder at that point.
Right. Well, we always tell people to teach a kid to fish and hunt. That way, you know, if you're teaching them to fish and hunt, you don't have to hunt them down or fish them out of trouble.
There you go.
So they're going to be busy.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, I have my own rod line coming out, Heather Smith out HSO rod line, including a child's rod, which is called the Little. And then I have my own clothing line with Real Wicked apparel.
Oh, my goodness. Well, congratulations. Jim, really.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We have a superstar, Carolyn. My goodness.
I'm telling you, if you call her and you want to know anything about anything outdoor activities, shooting, hunting, fixing things, she's the girl to go to.
My
And
goodness.
tell us about your bikini, the bikini thing you're doing on Florida Fisherman magazine.
I am not allowed to talk about that. There is a bikini contest for that. Unfortunately, one of my sponsors has contacted me, and we want a more wholesome image. So I have had to purge my social media of all bikini pics.
Well.
So I no longer have any bikini pics on any of my social media due to the image that I need to uphold for my sponsors.
Well.
That's great. That's an admirable thing. So that's awesome.
I was going to say earlier, it's
so moving along. Let's not talk about that one, please.
It was very heartwarming to hear that you went out. I had heard stories, but I didn't realize it was so serious there in. Is that the first time that's happened in history of them recording the weather there in Texas? Is that the first time that it has ever gotten that bad?
In 100 years. In 100 years. So it had not been that cold in 100 years. I don't really know how they did temperatures 100 years ago. You know what I mean? So but it had not been that cold in 100 years. So not in
So
our lifetime.
there was no way that anybody was really prepared for it. How quick did that come on?
Okay, so great question. Glad you asked. I spoke to Chip Harmon, who is a pro, and Chip and I are very close. We were together on the Elite Fishing League, and we've stayed very close ever since then. He's on season 2, and Chip is my go-to when it comes to the fishery reports for what's going on down in the Third Coast and central, southern Third Coast. Well, he went out. Rolling Stones magazine came out, and they were taking pictures. The water temp there went from 59 degrees to 24 degrees in a few hours, within 3 hours. Okay.
What?
Trout literally were frozen like little trout popsicles. Like, because whenever you get to like Port O'Connor or Rockport and you get down in that area, you go out 4 miles and you're still waiting. I mean, you go out for a mile, 4 miles, you're still waiting because the way the reef works there, or the way that it's so shallow. So trout will try to go to deeper water when it gets cold on the top like that, to try to warm up. Well, there was no way for them to get down. And as you know, when it gets below 54, they start getting sluggish and lethargic anyway because they're trying to reserve their energy for when they want to take a bite. Well, unfortunately, that was counterproductive in this instance, and they froze. I mean, we had the Gulf itself, in the bays or the marinas were froze over. I mean, you could literally ice skate on them.
Wow.
Wow. We lost thousands and thousands and thousands of trout. And unfortunately, that is the target area where people go for gator fish that are 32, what we call gator trout. And that's actually not a species. People have asked, I've never heard of that. But gator trout is specifically when a trout is over 32 inches, and then they call it a gator. It's like a bucket list fish. You want to catch something that big. And so the thousands of fish over 32 inches. So the fishery was really hit hard. The CCA here has decided and made a rule now that normally they do the big trout tournament. Everything is catch and release this year. And then a lot of the pro tournaments have came in, and they're switching everything. So it's no longer, it's all catch and release in an effort to try to revive our fishery.
I want to ask you again because I think you said it, but it shook me so bad. How quickly did this happen?
A few hours.
How was that possible?
I don't know. I don't know what kind of I made a joke on Facebook, and I can't make any political jokes, but I know a lot of things have happened this year, and I was like, see, this is what happens when we make bad decisions. But
oh my gosh.
It really went bad. It really went south, pun intended, very quickly. And it was insane. We were told be prepared for like a day of a cold front coming in. And, I would like, after 7 days, I asked if my free trial to Alaska could expire because I was out, like I'm not in this anymore. This isn't cool,
Oh my gosh. I'm shocked at how quickly this changed. That especially the water to change that quickly. That takes a tremendous amount of energy in order to change that. And we're talking huge amounts of water. My gosh. In a matter of hours.
Correct.
Lord have mercy.
You know what it makes me think of? That movie that based in New York City where the city froze like instantly and from global warming and how everything just froze over instantly. That's exactly what I'm visioning in my head.
That is spooky. My goodness. Well,
wow.
This is
it was just like that movie. Carolyn, I'm glad you pointed it out. The one where it comes in, I think it was End of Days or something like that, and with everything that's going on right now, and especially last year, I think we can all, say that, 2021 or 2020 was crazy, right? I'm at the point right now that I've got PTSD, I think, from 2020. So if I hear thunder, I think it's Godzilla, And so when this happened, I was like, aliens are next.
Oh, yeah, I'm telling you.
You don't even know what's going to happen anymore.
I have witnessed some really weird stuff here in Florida this last hurricane season. I think it was the last one. An entire bay drained out. I'd never, ever seen or experienced anything like that. An entire bay completely drained out. Places that were called islands, you could literally walk to them. It was, I'd never seen anything. It's just never heard of anything like that. I've grown up basically in Florida, never ever heard of anything so bizarre.
Yeah. We went through a tremendous bad year. I mean, all the way around here on Rayburn. The hurricane came in and hit. I think you were talking about it before you guys brought me on. And we had the hurricane hit, come in Lake Charles and, Cameron area, which is 62 miles from my house, right, is where the eye of the hurricane came in.
Wow.
And so I was very fortunate. I think, Carolyn, you follow me on social media. So everyone around us got annihilated. And I'm so happy, and I'm very Catholic, so, and I go to church quite a bit. So I was praying pretty hard with my kids. And the tornado actually touched down on the left side of my property and literally skipped all the way over my property. And at the very end, on the other side of my property line, ripped down the fence. So I was like, I literally got protected as it came over, and I was so thankful. But because of that, it ripped out the power lines that went to Lake Charles. So we lost the transformer lines or whatever they're called. So the Corps engineers were having to pull water from Rayburn to make hydroelectricity for the towns. And so then our lakes were tremendously down, and same scenario. Areas that we normally at that time of the year would fish for tournaments, you couldn't even get to. It was just that, you could walk in there.
Wow.
And, in a tournament, you can't get out of your boat. So it affected our tournament, and it affected everything. I mean, it's amazing how one small event can affect everything.
Wow, crazy stuff. Well, Miss Heather, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and you're an inspiring lady. God bless you for what you do. Thank you so much. Let me give Carolyn an opportunity to say goodbye to you, and we'll get on to our next guest.
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely,
you.
Heather. Hopefully your tournament with the high school kids went great today. I'd love to get an update from y'all.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll let you guys know how it goes with the kids. God bless everyone. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you so much, and greatly appreciate you calling in.
All right, thanks. Bye-bye.
Oh, excuse me. All right, and we're going to go right to our next guest, and that is, she's also known as the Florida Salty Cowgirl, but I'm now going to call her the Florida Mahi Mahi Girl because she finally broke the ice. And how are we doing this morning, Miss Angelia? She's got her phone on mute. It'll take her a second.
Sorry.
There she goes.
Oopsie, sorry.
Good morning,
it's
Angelia.
another beautiful morning. Hey, everybody. It's another beautiful morning down here in the Keys. Our weather's just been absolutely perfect for the last couple of weeks. So, and I had the wonderful experience yesterday. I went from, fishing last week all week. And my very next trip was a group of 6 ladies to take out snorkeling yesterday.
Wow.
And wonderful day. I took them to Riscala, your favorite place ever. Took them out to Alligator Reef. And these were just the most fun ladies ever. And we had the most wonderful experience. They were absolutely amazed by the fish. As usual, there's millions and millions of fish underneath the lighthouse and the structure there. And we were lucky enough to come upon a sea turtle that I can't even put my arms out in a big enough circle to tell you how big this thing was.
Wow.
And the ladies just amazed. And we also came across a thresher shark, which was really cool to see at the reef. It's kind of unusual. I didn't want to scare the ladies, and they thought it was a nurse shark, so I just kind of let them think that until we got back on the boat.
What kind of shark was it?
A thresher shark. They have very, very unique tails, and it's very, very identifiable tails. But that's an unusual sight to see out there. And he was kind of hunkered under some rocks with his entire tail exposed. And we all know that the nurse sharks are very, very gray. Very brown and have big round heads. And their tails are much more simple than the threshers. The threshers have some very unique tails. And so I'm looking at this thing and I'm thinking, wow, that is not a nurse shark. That's a thresher shark. So, of course, knowing me, I dive down and look under it at the rocks, and I can see its head now. And it's totally a big, beautiful thresher. Yeah. Look at it. Come on.
Oh, Lord.
And what was really cool is he had 4 or 5 or 6 big, beautiful hogfish just hanging around him. It's almost like maybe they knew they had a protector or something, but big, beautiful hogfish just hanging right around him. But that was definitely a unique sight. And the giant sea turtle, when you do a trip like that for people that are out of our state and you really want them to experience have a really nice Reef Keys experience and take them snorkeling like that, to have one of those giant sea turtles make an appearance is just such a beautiful moment. I mean, it just makes everything perfect.
Wow. Wow. So I'm not familiar with the shark that you're saying. Is it a predator? I mean, have they been known to attack people?
Hey, it's a shark. It's definitely a predator.
Well, I mean, predator in a sense, I guess, against humans.
The thresher sharks are actually very common where I'm from in Tampa Bay. And like I said, it's a very uncommon sight for me to see one down here. But I tell you what, just for sport fishing, I don't know about eating because I'm not a big one on eating sharks. It's just kind of not my thing. But for sport fishing, and I have yet to catch one, but what I hear, you get one of those things on the line with this big, long, powerful tail. It has a really, really neat tail design, which allows it to do some amazing thrashing in the water.
Oh.
And from what I hear, if you get one of these things on the line, boy, is it like the time of your life getting that thing to the boat to get it unhooked. Really, really interesting. Just Google them if you've never seen them. It's thresher.
Yeah, I'm going to do that as soon as the show's over because you got my curiosity out there.
And like I said, he kind of had his head tucked under some coral rocks, and I wasn't going to tell the ladies, oh, no, that's not a nurse shark. That's a thresher shark. Because I never want anyone to panic in the water. I want them to have a really enjoyable time and not be afraid of anything. And but yeah, I knew immediately it wasn't a nurse. And like I said, upon inspection, I knew it was a beautiful thresher shark. It was so pretty sitting down there. Just chilling out, taking a little break, and like I said, all the big hogfish that, man, would have been really nice on somebody's plate last night. But yeah, they were just kind of hanging around them. Like you would think that they would stay away from them and afraid to be eaten, but maybe they thought it was some type of protector because they were just schooled right around them. But yeah, the amounts of fish were insane. It was one of those days that I joke about. I say millions and millions of fish, but I mean an uncountable number of fish. It has to be hundreds of thousands of fish under those structures. And then one of my very favorite things that'll happen is there's a giant bait pool next to it, and it's all little tiny, like little silver sides. So it looks like glitter in the water. Yeah. And when you swim through it, you can literally feel them just tapping you all around your body, and you're just swimming through this big cloud of glitter in the water. And I just think that's one of the most amazing experiences. It's way better than anything on National Geographic, guys.
Ironically, I was saying that earlier about the lighthouse, how it's one of my favorite places to be. I haven't been there in years, but that it used to, we would see so many different kinds of fish, almost like a documentary, like a National Geographic documentary. So I'm very pleased and happy to hear that it's still like that, because it's really a very, very unique thing to see firsthand when you're down there. And it's not very deep, right? If I remember, it's like 20 feet, 15 or 20 feet?
Yeah, about 15 feet deep. And yesterday, like I said, we had perfect conditions, crystal clear, full sun shining, which is your best conditions. And the reef just kind of glows like a glow stick. It glows this emerald green color. It's almost unbelievable.
It's got a white bottom, right? There's a lot of white bottom around there, isn't there?
There's a lot of sandy bottom. And the sandy bottom, when that sun is out and that water's crystal clear, the places has the white sandy bottom literally looks like an emerald green glow stick. I mean, the reef just glows when it's like that. And it's the funniest thing you say that, because when you take tourists snorkeling, of course, they're a little bit leery of everything in the water, and I always try to put them at ease. But everybody wants to stay in those clear spots because it looks so desirable, you know?
Yeah.
And what I explain to them is, hey, those dark spots, those are the reef heads. That's the rocky areas. That's where all the critters are. That's where the cool stuff that you want to see is. But everybody seems afraid to go swim into the dark spots. But the dark spots are absolutely beautiful. Still crystal clear water. You just don't get that glow effect, you know?
Yeah.
And but yes, it was just one of those days. And I was thinking the same thing. I should have had a GoPro with me. It was just a perfect day. And the night before, I'm sort of a National Geographic junkie. The night before, I had been watching that new The World of Color. Of course, Richard Attenborough, commentates it. And but I tell you what, there's no life of color like there was at the reef yesterday. It was just amazing, and there must have been thousands of different species of fish and wildlife in the water. It was just one of those days.
That's how I remember it.
Really, really fun. Then you
like
pull the boat
looking-
back up the dock, and you've got nurse sharks and manatees and tarpons swarming your boat. I mean, it just doesn't get any better. And then you throw me with 6 ladies that are just a ton of fun.
Well, no,
the perfect
you're talking about ladies, and Carolyn had mentioned earlier something about bringing you on to a fishing team and going. When is that going to be, Carolyn? You're going to be doing some fishing with her?
Yeah, this coming Saturday is the Trash Can Slam for autism. So Angelia will be popping up here probably Friday night, get a good run out early out of Hillsborough Inlet with her as one of our new teammates.
Is it
Yay!
a one-day thing? Is it a one-day or 2-day?
Yeah.
Or what?
It's a one. Typically here in Pompano, the tournaments are one day, Saturday only.
Mhm.
And awards the same day because people do travel. But this will be great. We're going to be fishing on I think a 42-foot world cat with Carol and her boyfriend who owns the biggest world cat dealership down here in Fort Lauderdale.
Wow. Awesome. I can't wait to hear about this now. And how many ladies is it going to be?
We've got 4, so it's going to be Carol, Darina, myself, and Angelia.
Wow.
And I can't wait.
What is it? A specific? Is it sailfish or is it mahi or is it what?
It's here's what's fun. It's all meat fish, and then they have the trash can division, which is trash can, which is anything you happen to pull up. So whatever you can stuff in a 5-gallon bucket, it's kind of the trash part of the whole name of the tournament. So
Cool.
Anything we catch, as long as it's legal, is a target.
Wow. Well, that sounds like it's going to be awesome. And it runs all day Saturday? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think weigh-in is about 3 o'clock on Saturday. Angelia, we'll probably get into some of those side bets with the guys, but we're looking forward to that.
You put the guys to shame if I know you guys before it's all over.
We'll do everything in our power, that's for sure, Estella.
I love it. I love it. Well, it is a gorgeous day from what I see here, and it looks like it's going to continue to be a gorgeous day, even though NOAA says there is a small craft advisory out there. I tend to argue that fact. How's it still looking on the cam there, Carolyn? Still calm?
Yeah, I'm going right there, as a matter of fact. I'm going to tell you the wind's still out of the west. Let's see what's going on. Oh, it's changed a little bit, Riscala.
Yeah.
I can see the wind swung around. The waves are coming in a little bit. Barely white caps, so I'm going to go with maybe this afternoon.
Yeah, maybe it's going to get worse as the day goes on. What's it look like? What's the water look like down there, Angelia?
Down in the Keys, it is an absolutely beautiful day. We have very, very little winds. I'm looking at glassy water, full sun, barely a cloud in the sky, 0 chance of rain. It's just one of those perfect days in the Keys. It's actually so warmed up down here that yesterday I was a little bit timid to get in the water to snorkel because I'm a Florida girl. Anything under about 75 degrees, I'm out, And I got in the water yesterday, and upon getting in, it was just a little bit chilly, but everything's so exciting that you warm up quickly. And then when you get out of the boat, you're in, 88-degree weather with full sun. So it was just one of those great days. So, yeah, the water's warming up. The weather's great. Everybody's out fishing right now. So good times in the Keys.
You planning on going out there today?
Actually, I think I'm going for a paddleboard with some friends today. I'm going to take it a little bit easy today. It's been a very eventful week. So a very eventful couple of weeks, actually. So, yeah, I think I'm going to take it a little bit easy today and get some sun and get out there in the nature and get on the water and just have a little fun and take it easy with my friends. So that's what the Keys life is all about.
I miss the Keys life. Even though I never lived down there, it was almost as close to living down there as I could get. There was a time when I lived in South Florida, I was about an hour and a half away pulling the boat down there. And I was down there every opportunity I could get. And it is a different way of life. There's no question about it. Different way of life.
I hear about everybody talking about everything going on in the world. I call this my detached from the world bubble. It's a completely different world. It's a wonderful way of life. And we don't really think about all the stuff that's going on in the rest of the world because everything that's going on down here is just beautiful and happy. And how can you beat that?
Yeah.
So, yeah, Keys is the way to go, guys. Wonderful.
Well, I wish you an awesome day, my friend. I hope that this coming week is productive for you and that we'll be talking to you in a week and get an update from you. In the meantime, thank you so much for taking the time to call in and share with us. And let me give Carolyn an opportunity to say goodbye to you, and we're out of time.
Yeah, absolutely. Angelia and I might be calling in together next Sunday.
Excellent. Well,
Yeah, I'm so looking forward to seeing you next week. Woo, we get to fish together finally.
All right. Well, so long, everybody. Thank you for joining us this morning. We'll be back in a week. Well, that is. There we go.
Come on, baby, let's go. Don't forget your bikini. I wake up in the morning. Oh, it's so cold. I'm hopping on a train. And it's southbound. I'm going to Florida. Where the sun shines all day. Just call me a grouper.